How is everybody this evening? I hope everybody's good. Tonight we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. As most of you know, I'm a retired police officer, detective with over 33 years of service. I worked primarily in narcotics most of my career, but I had the chance to work homicide and rape task force and cyber crimes task force. And a part of that cyber crimes task force, we worked a large operation at the time. It was the largest in the Southeast. That's what the FBI had told me. We arrested about 29 subjects through indictments and also arrested them on scene as they thought they were talking to 13 and 14-year-old kids, but they were talking to police officers. And they sent nude pictures. They arranged to meet these kids for what they thought was for sex when we arrested them. We had people from lawyers to policemen's brothers to fighter pilots to engineers to unemployed people, all. And one was a major business owner in the town up the road from us. He was from Pakistan and he got deported. The FBI says each day, there are 500,000 predators online every day. And that's scary enough. Kids 12 to 15, so they're more susceptible to being groomed and manipulated by offenders. 89% of all sexual advances toward children take place in an internet chat room and through instant messaging. And 27% of exploitation events, predators ask kids for sexual photographs and of themselves. And 4% of the children get aggressive sexual solicitation, including attempts to contact the kids offline. Now, I don't know if you remember, if any of y'all are old enough to remember when the Dateline thing did where they got these guys to come by where they thought they were going to meet kids, and Dateline was there and they showed how these people, and the police end up arresting them. Well, that was something like we did, except we didn't wait till they come in the house. We got them in parking lots. We arrested them in parking lots of car washes and actually in the back of McDonald's in particular. Now, today I had a little experiment. I went into a couple of chat rooms today, and I want to show you. Y'all need to monitor your kids, and I mean monitor your girls, especially. The guys are just as much, because when we arrested like all but two. One was a female that had propositioned some young males, and one was a gay man out of Atlanta. So you need to be aware of what your kids are doing online and monitor them. And some of I'll get into my little experiment today, but I read another article that said that if you come in the room and your kid shuts his computer fast, that is a common indication that he's doing something you didn't want you to see. And my wife always told my kids that she's not their friend, she's a parent. And if they got mad about it, then that was tough. They live in our house. They're actually going to abide by our rules. And one of the rules was that their phones and their computers were open to us at any time we wanted to see it. We could take their computers, take their phones, and go through and find out what messages they are messaging and who they're talking to online. And you know what? I hate to be this way, but you need to do it. And I'm going to show you why. I went online because back in the day when I was involved in the cybercrime detail and I ran this detail, we had several people. We had two other guys and me were posing as kids. And these people would, thank God that there wasn't kids involved because some of the stuff was graphic. It was sick, sadistic, sadomasochism, everything. You would not believe what these people were trying
including bestiality.
Yeah, including bestiality. We're trying to get these kids to be involved in. So we actually remembered one in particular. This guy was exposing himself, and he came to meet what he thought was a 13-year-old girl in the same clothes that he had exposed himself the night before. And when we took him down, we tracked him back to his vehicle. He had a sack with a rape kit in it. He had tape, masking or duct tape. He had 2 disposable cameras. He had condoms. He had zip ties. He had, a whole lot of stuff in his tag on him. How he got away with having this tag, I'll never know. His tag was I fornicate. That was his tag. And I guarantee you somebody was asleep at the wheel when they gave him that tag, or he convinced them it didn't mean that. But we ended up arresting him, and he was from Canada, but he was living up in Clanton, Alabama. Well, he went and bonded out of jail, and he fled to Canada. And just last year, I had a call that the U.S. Marshals knew where he was. Now, it's been 10 years since maybe 12 years since all this happened. And they were going to try to hook him up in Canada and extradite him back to the United States. But I never heard anything else. So obviously he must have got away. He got away up there. But let me tell you what I did today. I went into a couple of chat rooms, and just to see if I could pose as a female, young female, and see if anybody would immediately message me. And that's exactly what happened. I wasn't in the chat room 2 minutes. And you got to understand, this is one of the chat rooms right here. Now, see the one down here, girls chat? Okay. It says,
time out.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Are y'all seeing Thomas? Because I'm not seeing him. Do y'all see Thomas? I may need to go out and come back in. If they're seeing you, I'm not seeing you. It says that you don't go on for 6 minutes.
I'm live according to this.
Let me try it again. Sorry, y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is the chat room. Kids chat is what it is. Now, this goes to show you anybody can say they're a girl or a guy or whatever. There's no proof. You didn't have to register. You just basically make up a name and an age. So I went into this girls chat, a room for girls only, no boys allowed, okay? Now, they did not monitor me, so that could tell you that anybody can get in there, anybody. And this is the room, this is what came up. Now, this guy hit me up right away. James is one of them. Another one was Andrew. Another one was King Chris 25. He says I asked, how old are you? He says 14, but I do not believe that because he kept asking, do you have Instagram? I said no. And then he asked again. Here's the 2 names right away that came up right away trying to contact what they thought was a 14-year-old girl. And he says, you got Google Hangout? And I said, no. And I finally said, why? I said, why? And this is what they said. To talk you better, no restrictions. And I said, about what? And they said, I don't know, boys. Now, they are claiming to be girls, but this is exactly what you need to be aware of, because after this, I just got out and left.
Okay, can I say something?
Okay.
Right away. King Chris, 25.
Right.
King Chris is a male, probably about 25 years old.
That's what I think too.
And that James 098 was probably born in 98.
Right. And there was another one another male that hit me up. But so that just goes to show you, we don't know. I mean, anybody can get on here and make up any name they want to. They can see, here I was in my 60s claiming to be a 14-year-old girl. Well, just think if some pedophile got on there, claimed to be a girl 14 too, and all I did was put Pretty One was the name, Pretty One. Boom, 3 hits right away, just like that. That's why I can tell you these pedophiles, these predators are out there. So they thought I was a child. And what I would recommend for you to do, if you're a parent of a child, I would recommend you go to some of these chat rooms like that. Pose as young kids and see what these guys are, how predatory they are, and see what they say to you. And, you know, you can report them through that website. You can report them, but, you know, they just delete their account and they just come back as somebody else. You know, they could say they're Sally Mae or something. But if I can get on and pose as a 14-year-old girl with just by putting a name up there and putting the age up there, anybody can do that. It just shows the vulnerability of this site. A lot of places, they make them log in, which is better. Even though they can make up a name and make up a login and all that stuff, it does require you get an email and set up a false email like we did when we were doing this predators thing. But this one is so lax. I mean, I came in, told them I was 14 years old, didn't have to do anything. Put a name in and an age, and that's it. You go into this all-girls chat, and within 15 seconds, I mean, not even 15 seconds, I was hit up by 3 men. Now, I don't know. They could have been 25, or they could have been 55, or it could be 105. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, go yourself. Say you're 14 and 13. Put a name out there, Sally Mae, or you don't have to. I saw there was a couple names like Susie Baby and stuff like that, and that's kind of like enticement. All they want somebody to contact them, but just put like Pretty One or pretty girl or cheerleader or something like that, and you'll see these guys try to hit you up and they'll try to talk this stuff, and you'll be very surprised at how quick it'll turn to some type of sexual predatory speech. And, you know, I didn't let it go that far today because all I wanted to see was how fast that people would contact me just by putting the name Pretty One. That's all I put. And when they contact me, I said, why or no. I said only 2 things, and I said, I asked them why or what about, trying to see if they would express themselves. But the guy said he wanted to talk on some way that they didn't have. They hit me up just like that.
He just came in. He missed what you said about being there before.
All right, you missed what was said before. What I said before, I wanted to find out, because I'm a retired law enforcement and I did this for a living. Even though majority of my time in law enforcement was in narcotics, we did a sting operation in our city where we arrested like almost 30 men. But we posed as 13, 14-year-old girls, and they hit us up pretty quick back then too. But I did not let it go any further than them just trying to get me into another chat area to chat with no restrictions. So apparently, if you say keywords in this chat, they will kick you out. So that's what he did not try. The 2 or 3 that there was like 3, 4, just boom, 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 trying to hit me up and talk to me. And this one, King Chris 25, claimed to be a 14-year-old girl. But
can you report them after they try it? Somebody asked.
Yes, there's a way to report them on that thing, but I didn't today. I figured, hey, what I would like for you to do is go in and do the same thing I did. But here's what I want to instruct you to do. Don't talk to them about anything. Ask them the questions, just the words I did. Why? Or no, you don't have this. You don't want to get involved in a conversation with these people that is going to be sexual in nature, because if you don't get these people out of there, that's just going to fuel their excitement to do it over again.
Well, not only that, but what if they're talking to a police officer?
Yeah, but police officer's not going to not going to instigate the conversation. Police
Okay.
officers,
But
not
that's
going
what I'm
to.
saying. They don't need to instigate.
No, you
anything.
don't. That's the one thing about our sting operation. We never instigated any conversation. We always stood back and just kind of were like the flower on the wall. And these predatory people came to us, and they brought up everything. They brought up sex. They sent sex pictures. They asked, but just like I was reading that article, 500,000 sexual predators every day on the internet. And just today, just by me going into this one chat room and logging in under the name Pretty One and putting 14-year-old girl, I was hit up by 3 to 4 guys just automatically, boom, just like that. That lied about their age. Oh, I'm a King Chris 25 puts down that he's a 14-year-old girl. That's not, we know what this is. I mean, we know what his objective is, but I didn't let him go that far. I just said, no, I don't have this. No, do you have Hangouts? No, I don't have Hangouts. I said, why? He said, because it's less restrictive. We can talk about anything. That he was trying to get to a place, or Messenger. He asked about Messenger also, or Instagram. So he's trying to get to a place where he could talk and maybe ask for something he shouldn't ask for, or try to influence, or, he was trying to, what he thought was a 13 and 14-year-old girl, he was going to try to move in and do this predatory nature that he's doing. And it's no doubt these guys are predators. That's all they were. You don't, look, if you're just this is supposed to be a girls only chat room, and I knew from where I knew it. The minute I went in there, I knew I'll just put this out there and see what happens. And all I said was hi. That's all I said. It's supposed to be a girl area chat room. Then boom, you have 4 or 5 guys trying to get to talk to you and get you to a private messaging location. So these are predators. They're predatory nature in them. They're trying to try to get what they're thinking. If it hadn't have been me there, it could have been your daughter or your son out there. So I'm asking you to be very vigilant of what they're doing online. Would you have a question or something?
No, I was just going to say, I read a story in the newspaper about a guy that he got online and he friended this girl. She friended him, and he was pretending to be a young man. And she told him all about what was going on in her life and everything. And he told him she had a Facebook page. He went to her Facebook page, and he had told her he was 14 years old. And so anyway, one day when she got home from school, the doorbell rang, and it was that man. And he was talking to her parents, and he said, do you have a daughter? And gave her name and said, can you get her to come down here? And so she went down there, and he said, hey, I want to introduce myself. And he said the name of that young 14-year-old boy that she's been talking to. And she said, no, you can't be him. He's 14 years old. And he said, no, it was me. You gave me all the information I needed to find you and kidnap you if I had wanted to.
I still think that was kind of freaky, him doing
that. Well, it was,
but the idea of it is, I would, especially if you're a female and you want to find out what kind of stuff your kids are into. First off, I would not let your kids chat in a chat room, period, until they're 18, 19, 21 years old. I just wouldn't do it. I put my foot down and say, look, it's not going to happen. And what I did on part of this stuff, I tried to go to a game chat room. And I did the first time. I went to like a game, these gamers, and they're the same way. You could if you put a female name in there, boom, they're going to hit you up. I had one right away. He didn't hit me up, but he said, anybody want to talk privately? Any girls want to talk privately? I mean, this is supposed to be a game chat room. And this guy right here is the predator. He's moving out here to predatory. And what I've heard about is, too, in these game chat rooms they'll befriend these people through the games. They'll befriend your kids through these games by maybe being very good at them and they'll say, hey, let's chat some and I'll teach you how to do this game. And they could actually help them with this game for a while and befriend them. And it may not be it may just be a 23, 24, 25-year-old guy. But that is predatory, because we had a 25-year-old guy during our sting operation that came down to meet what he thought was a 14-year-old girl to have sex with her. And now he's doing 20 years in state penitentiary. He got 10 years on one, boxcars, 10 years on the other. So these guys they're predatory. They're predatory. And I don't care if they're only 3 years or 2 or 3 years older than the child. You're talking about, I mean, you know, I wasn't online with these people 3 minutes, and these people already, I knew what was going to happen. I'd been in sting operation before, but I just wanted to come in there with a name and see how fast that the predators would come to me. And they did. They came within 15 seconds. And you can look at this again. Look at this conversation again now. First thing he asked, he spells out Instagram right there, Insta. He said, do you have Insta? And put it out there. And I asked him, how old are you? And he says, 14. And I said, are you a girl? And he said, yes, because it's supposed to be a girl-only chat. And it says, King Chris 25. You know, that tells you he's not a girl. And this is another, 2 more. Him and another one hit up right away. And that other message, I never did open that message. And then he says, you know, you got Google Hangout? No. What do you have? In other words, he wants anything to get off of this chat platform that is restricted to him. He wants anything to get off of it. And then he says, I asked him why, and he said, to talk you better, no restrictions. And then I said, what about? And he said, I don't know. And below he says boys. But he's already a boy. See what I mean? He's trying to influence what the person he thinks I am. And after that, I just got off and deleted the profile. But, you know, I came very close to saying, you know, I'm the police, don't you? But the only reason I didn't do that was if the police are working that chat room, I didn't want to interfere with anything they're in there doing. They could be in there posing as 15 and 14-year-old girls and waiting for predators like this to come in and then commit a felony and then arrest them. And the things that they have to do are they have to want to meet a person, like meet the girl or whatever, and then they have to do an overt act. They have to actually, they can't just say, oh, I'll meet you down there on the, you know, the corner square by McDonald's and then never show up. Well, there's a possibility you could maybe get them for that, but you really have to do, they really have to do an overt act, like attempt to meet them, or they have to send some type of pornographic picture or ask, you know, if they try to entice the female, say this predator, say I would have been a 14-year-old girl and this predator would have came over off this and said, you know, you really need to send me some pictures of yourself in the nude, or you need to meet me down here at the corner. That's enticement, and that is a crime. And there'd be something, some jurisdictions could arrest them for that. But what they like to have is some overt act that they're not just talking about it.
Okay. One of the reasons that pornography is so bad right now, or it's getting worse, of course, is because of the internet. But I learned in psychology in college that when you look at pornography, that there is a chemical that's released in your brain. It's the only time the chemical is released in your brain is when you look at something sexual. This chemical is released, and it's like bathing your brain in this chemical, and it's like developing a picture. You know, Tommy used to have a dark room where he would develop pictures he took, And so it's like developing a darkroom picture. This is forever embedded in your mind. And that's why it is so hard. If you find your child looking at pornography, you need to get a hold of it quick.
Yes, you don't, because once they develop that in their mind, it's not, it used to be a big joke. Oh, he's out looking at Playboy, all guys do that, their dad's Playboys or something like that. No, it's deeper than that. They develop an actual addiction for this. They get an actual addiction to it. But what I want you to do, and I know I might get some heat over it, but I'll be honest with you, I really don't care. I want you to not be your child's best friends. I want you to be your child's person that watches over your child, and sometimes you're going to make them mad. You're going to make them mad, but you're going to have to get a hold of their phones. You're going to have to get a hold of their laptops. You're going to have to be aware of where they're at and what they're doing with it. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What do you think your child would do if they were on the computer and you walked in their room and you said, let me see your computer a minute? Would they get upset at it? Would they fight you back? No, Mom, you don't need to see that. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do need to see that. Because I'm telling you, the predators are out there. And I want you to do this. I want you to go to a couple of these kids' sites. I want you to go in just like that kids chat. I want you to put down you're 13 or 14 years old as a girl. Don't get involved in chat with these people, of course. Don't start any chats with any of them. That's where you're going to get into bad trouble. But if you just go in and put your name as some name, Sally Mae, whatever, and just say, hello, people, just like that. And see if you don't get bombarded with these males hitting you up, instant messaging you, trying to talk to you, trying to get you to go to some other. And here's the thing. If you have one like this King Chris that was trying to get me to go to a separate chat room, he is a serious, serious predator. And I wouldn't doubt that he's not 25. I wouldn't doubt that he's not 45 or 55 or older, because he had the predatory nature in him. He wanted to try to get what he thought was a young girl to a separate, non-restrictive place to talk. I guarantee it. I guarantee you he was a predator. And you know what the problem is? That he wasn't the only one out there. Within 30 seconds, 3 times, boom, 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 messages come across there, people trying to talk to what they thought was a 14-year-old girl. So, if I'd have been in law enforcement, I would have took it a little bit further. I would have had gone to a chat room, because see, what we did in law enforcement was we recorded our whole screen. The screen was recorded during all of the conversation, because when you take it to court, they want to see everything that you said and everything that they said, so that it's not entrapment. Because if the officer starts being the aggressor in these conversations, they will scream entrapment. They didn't really think they were young, because they knew they wouldn't be talking about this situation or this situation.
Okay, one of the things I always did tell my children, I am not your friend. I'm your mother. I do not care if you don't like me. I don't care if you think you don't love me. But one day you will realize what I did for you was right. Y'all, I'm telling you, God gave me my 2 children. Our daughter's adopted from Korea. Our son is adopted from the States. And God gave me our children to raise them up to be God-fearing and productive citizens in our society, not to be groomed by some pedophile because I was too busy doing my own thing instead of watching my children.
But, it's going to be, I'm telling you, they're going to fight you over this,
Yeah.
We were at her dad's the other day, and one of these little kids that hangs out up there, his dad does work for him. He was out there on the computer all day, and I said, what are you doing? What are you playing? Why do you want to know? That's what he said. Why do you want to know? I said, I don't. I was just wondering, you're on your computer, you're on the phone all the time. Why do you want to know? I would I would definitely watch your kids when they're on the internet, period. You might make them mad by going in there and taking their laptop, but there's also, if they're young enough, there's a program that you can actually install on their computer, which every email they get, every text message they get, you get. So it's kind of a safety thing where if they get messages from somebody, you get that message in there. And that way you can have a firsthand knowledge before it really gets out of hand. But I'm telling you, take the initiative and actually investigate your kids, what they're doing on the computer. I would never in a million years let my kid be on the computer in their room while I'm in the living room watching TV. It's just not going to happen because there's too much predatory out there. If I can put in that I'm a 14-year-old girl and enter a chat room today with not any type of proving that I was, and just sat there for 2 minutes because I had the name Pretty One, and get hit by 3 predators within 2 minutes of not saying a word, then you think about if they're actually talking in the chat room and talking about a game or something like that.
Okay, another thing is a lot of parents put their kids in front of the TV and put on YouTube cartoons and think everything's fine. I have a cousin, when her 2-year-old was sitting beside her watching YouTube on her phone, she glanced over at it and she saw pornography come up, and then it switched right back to the cartoon. So they are grooming the children as young as possible.
Yeah, and I want you, I want you to think about this, what I said now. It didn't take me anything to enter this chat room and say that I was somebody else. So a pervert, a predator, he could do the exact same thing. He can come in just like I did, put down 13, 14, and then for them to hit up right away within 10 seconds of being in there, not saying a word in the chat room, just coming in the chat room. Within 10 seconds, 3 people hit me up and tried to talk to me and tried to get me to go off site to talk to them. So it upset me so bad after this, I didn't even report it. Because one, I was hoping law enforcement were working that already, a lot of law enforcement agencies go in there and they work these things. They'll enter the chat room as a young female and they'll wait for these guys to come out and do this. But the problem is there's thousands of chat rooms like this, thousands. So and I just happened to pick out one. I put kids chat in there to see. The place that we had the most successful of all these people were Alabama chat room. It was an Alabama chat room. And, it was never any problem for these predators to get out there and they'll send you all kinds of stuff. I really today was just not wanting it to progress, so I just got out. But I wanted to see how fast that these predators will come in and try to influence me when what they thought was a young female. That's what they did. So, immediately trying to get me into Hangouts, trying to get me into these places. I actually went to Hangouts to see what this was because I'd never heard of it. But apparently it's like a Facebook Messenger. You can do video, you can do message, you can do regular phone calls. So I would familiarize yourself with all of these stuff.
Oh, gosh. See, Mills says that in Washington State, their governor just signed a bill that's starting kindergarten that they would teach them sex ed and all sorts of stuff. Oh my gosh. That's why I homeschooled. And my son is 31 years old, but that's why I homeschooled.
Yeah. In fact, I got a picture of our kids. I put a couple of pictures up on Patreon of one of me and my drug unit to see if they could recognize who I was in the picture. And but you know, monitor your kids' stuff. And I know a lot of you are going to say, "Oh, I trust my kids."
Don't trust them.
And I'm going to tell you this: it's not them you got to trust. It's the person on the other end of that computer. It could be anybody.
But they're
It can
too
be
young.
anybody out there.
But they're too young
I know, but
to
listen.
make those decisions.
What they will do is they will not come in all at once like these. Some of them will, like these guys did today, but most of them will try to groom them. They will talk about things that they will maybe pretend to be a young girl, talk about problems they're having with their boyfriend. They'll get to be online friends. They'll get them to talk about personal stuff too. They'll get to commit something about their parents that maybe they shouldn't be telling a stranger. And then they'll try to maybe work their way into personally getting a personal psychological relationship with them. And then they'll start to use that stuff against them. You wouldn't want your mother and dad to know you told me that, would you? You know what I mean? They will try to use games, and they will try to use all of this stuff to try to do it. They used to, when we worked this thing, they would say, "Hey, I can, I'm old enough. I can buy beer. I can buy liquor. I'll bring all kinds of liquor. You and your friends will have a big party, so that, let that type of thing." But monitor your kids on the internet. I can't say that enough. Watch their phone conversations. Get their phones when they're asleep. Go through their messages. Go through their instant messages. Go through their pictures. Here's the thing that a lot of people are getting arrested for. Young teenagers in high school, they'll have their girlfriend share a nude picture. That when that girl takes that picture and passes it to that male, or that male passes it to somebody else, it's child pornography. They can go to prison forever. I'm talking about 10, 15 years in prison for possession of child pornography. And there's been people do that. So you need to explain to your kids, especially if you're young females, that if a guy asks you to take a picture of yourself nude, then he is not doing that because he loves you or wants to build a relationship with you. And once that's on the internet, it's on the internet forever. You're never going to get it out of the internet. I don't care what you do. And they'll use it, they'll share it, and it gets out there. It can end up on the dark web. It can end up in child predators' hands. You just got to tell them. You got to realize anything you put on the internet is out there forever. You know what I mean? Any pictures. And that's why I said before, if you're a parent and you want to share on your Facebook page your little baby and they've been in the tub and they're naked or walking around, don't do that. I'm telling you. I have seen predators, sexual predators, get off on that kind of stuff, and they'll share it with their friends on the dark web, and they'll pervert it. And I'm just saying, don't do it. I know you don't mean that I know you don't mean it any bad. If you want to send it in a private email to your mother or your stepmother or your mother-in-law or somebody across country, that's fine. Send it in a private email. But don't put it on Facebook, because I'm telling you, these predators, they get off on that kind of stuff.
Hey, what about the guy that was doing a Zoom call?
They actually had a government official. Was he a government official? Yes, he worked in the government. Was doing a lewd act on a Zoom call. He thought it had been over, and he did this. Why? I just want to shake my head and say, what are these people thinking?
Well, it's like Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing, too, they got to realize, too, on their computers, anything they do on their computer is there forever. You can get all these high dollar programs, But unless you spend $1,000, you can't wipe that computer clean. I'm telling you.
You can take a hammer to them.
Yeah, shoot it or destroy it. But we had computers that we seized that these predators had used a program called Bleach, where they paid good money to have their computers wiped. And the United States Secret Service got into it, and they salvaged child porn, all kinds of stuff, and built cases where these people went away forever. So you just can't do it. You can't erase things like that. What I'll be honest with you, when we get through with our computer, we completely destroy them. Not because we have anything on it we wouldn't want the police to see, but we know all of our bank records on our computers, all of our passwords, all of our children's passwords, all of our pictures. Even though we've copied off our pictures and stuff, another copy or something remains on that hard drive. And what I've done on every computer that I've ever had, I took the hard drive out and I've downloaded that hard drive to the next computer. Then I've destroyed the hard drive, shot it with a gun or whatever, because I don't want my bank records being in somebody else's hand. I'll tell you something else you don't realize. Did you know that any copy machine out there, every single copy machine keeps a copy of everything, and a thing in a computer inside keeps a copy of everything that's ever been copied on that machine. So if somebody's got sensitive records that they got on the copy machine, they need to make sure that if it's rented or whatever, that little card, that little program card comes out with them, because that has already been shown where people are stealing identity thefts and all kinds of stuff like that. But I just want you, and the reason why I did this tonight was to show you how easy it is for predators to be online, and also how easy it was for me to just come online. I could have been anybody. I could have been a bad guy, which I'm not, but I could have been.
That guy's name was Tobin, and he did not get fired, and he masturbated on the Zoom call.
That's crazy.
What in the world?
That's crazy.
Hey, tell them about the computers, selling the computers or buying a computer from somebody.
Yeah, that's one thing too.
Police officer.
If you were going to buy a computer online from anybody, I would immediately, I would get a bill of sale where I bought it to start off with, and then I would take it to a computer store and have them wipe that computer or redo it like it was never, completely wipe it. We used to buy computers and sell them at our store, and we had a guy for $50, $50, he would wipe them completely clean. And the reason why is this. Say you go out and buy a computer or used computer from somebody, and we had a guy that worked with us in the police department. He was a pervert. We didn't know it. I kind of thought he was kind of off because a lot of things he did, that he always kept a little bear inside his police car. We had bears in the trunk for people on domestics to give to kids, but he had one up front. It was just something funny about the guy. I never did care for him. Well, he sold a computer to somebody, and when they got it home, they started looking at it, and in the hidden files they opened, it had about 1,000 pictures of child pornography. So they got the Alabama Bureau of Investigation involved. They hooked this guy up, and he did prison time, federal prison time. But what I'm getting at is, say you buy a computer off the internet, off Marketplace, say, you take it home and you use it for a while and everything's good. You don't do nothing. Maybe you keep it a year or two, and then you sell it. And then somebody finds child porn on there that you never knew about. It was hidden somewhere in the computer. Then the police are going to come to you, not the guy you bought it from, because you've had it for that whole length of time. So what I would do is, if I wanted to buy one, I would get a bill of sale saying I bought it on this date, and I would carry it immediately. That even if I took it to Best Buy and asked them to wipe it for me. Here's my receipt. I bought it from this place, or a little computer store out somewhere. That's why I'm very hesitant about buying used computers without them being completely clean, because you just never know what's on them, and then, but I know what the guy that we had cleaning our computers, he would bring it in. If there's anything on there at all, he would bring them in, and then we would go down to the police department and say, this is a person that turned it in. And I'm going to just tell you, I had one of the computers that we had bought one time, and I looked through it, and I thought it was pretty clean. I did. I said, I think this is clean. I gave it to our computer guy, and I said, we just got this one. I've looked at it. I don't see anything on it. And he said, well, let me try something. He mashed 4 or 5 buttons on there and just pulls up this whole sex tape of this guy that used to own the computer and his wife doing it right there on the screen. And I was like, oh, God, I don't, And he said, see, you just don't know. If you know how to get into these programs, you got to wipe it all. You got to wipe it all clean. And, of course, he had the $1,000 program that actually could wipe the whole computer completely clean. So when you got the computer back, you didn't have to worry about anything being on there. But, go on these places. Try it out. Go on there. Say you're a kid and see how fast these predators hit you up. It will stun you. It will stun you. And if I had a way right now, to get my screen here where I could go online and let you watch all this at the same time, if I had this Streamlab, which I'm trying to get to where I learn this computer program to be able to use that. It's a lot better than this one. Then I would be able to do that. But if I could split my screen and go to a site like this and show you, you would be shocked. Because now today, when I went on there and just said what I did, that was in the middle of the day. And then what we did was at night. At night, the place is crawling with predators.
Hey, tell me about the one that came from Tuscaloosa. You popped on and he popped on, and within 20 minutes.
That's the one that wasn't Tuscaloosa. It was Mobile.
I thought you said he drove 4 hours. Somebody drove 4 hours.
Yeah, it was Tuscaloosa. That's right.
What I thought.
Yeah, we did not. We popped on at night for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That wasn't me, though. I think it was Bill's guy. But popped on like for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and a guy automatically, boom, hit up, hey, I'm coming down tonight. I'm going to be down there tonight and all this. And we were like, yeah, right. But he did. He showed up and got arrested. And I want you
to be careful going to that website, though, because they could still pop up with some pornography and stuff real quick.
Yeah, I'm not saying if you don't go. The Kids Chat website, I don't think they will, because this guy was trying to get me to go to a Hangout website where they don't have restrictions. So I'm sure they have like some type of buffers in there where, just like on my when you leave a message for me or you leave a comment, there's certain keywords that I have in my that are restricted. You can't leave a website, or you're going to be put into a file. You put into a different area that says comments to be reviewed, or you can't say a certain cuss word. It will kick you out. I've already got it in there set up that way. And now I'm trying to do the, we had some girls come on there, the porn site, and what they were doing was, hey guys, come visit me. And they were leaving this. They wasn't saying any of the keywords because they've gotten smart. But I went and blocked those people. So hopefully, as I keep on, me and my wife both keep on looking at this. If we see something that shouldn't be there, we'll block it. But if you do go to one of these sites, and if you do go in like you are a young female to see if these guys will immediately hit you up like they did me, just be aware. If it's a site not like Kids Chat or say you're on a gaming site, you may be somebody will send you some pornography, and you just have to take that in that there's some sick individuals out there. But personally, if I had my way, I'd like to have me a little button on my computer where I could mash it and, it castrate them instantly. I mean, but, I hate to be rude about it, but I have no love for these predators. This has been it was a life work for me to put these guys in penitentiary. And I do not have any qualms about sending any one of them to prison. What they want to do to children and what they want to expose children to is nothing but evil. That's all it is. And it, just like I said, and please, if you go into a site like I did, don't talk to them first. Don't say anything to them. Just go in there and say hello to the main channel. If they want to talk to you, and they will, they'll hit you up. And if you want to click on one of them to see what they say to you, play dumb like I did. Why? Do you got this? No. Y'all want to talk to you. What about? And then once they were trying to get me over to this other side, I just deleted it and got out. But it is scary to think that these people are there and they're waiting to prey on young children. That's what they are. Now, if somebody went in there and said they're 35, 45, 55 years old, they're not going to talk to you. They know they can't convince you to do anything. They'll prey on the innocent. They want the more innocent, the better.
And what's sad is teenage girls can be easily influenced with a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the way a lot of them would do is, they would say, like when we were working the sting operation, we would say, well, my mom won't let me do nothing fun. And then they say, oh, well, I can come down, I'll bring alcohol, I guarantee you we'll have fun. And then we would say, what kind of fun do you like to have? And then they would say these things. But see, when you're working a sting, these officers cannot say anything about sex. They cannot say anything about, why don't you come down here? They cannot. In fact, they try to talk them out of it, basically. No, you don't need to do this. No, I don't want to get in trouble. And these people will just they will do anything for what they think they can get down here. And what they want to do is rape these people. They want to rape the young females. Okay.
One of the things that I told Thomas when we adopted our daughter was that he needed to date our daughter to teach her how a young man is supposed to treat her. So when she was 2 years old, they went on their first daddy-daughter date.
Yeah, we went to McDonald's.
When they went
to the movies.
As she got a little bit older, one day, she was like 3 or 4 years old. She said, Daddy and I are going on a date and you can't go. And I said, well, okay. And so when she came back, I said, well, where did y'all go? And she said, we went to McDonald's and we did not do the drive-through. But y'all, he complimented her all the time. When she was in high school, these boys started hitting on her and they would tell her how beautiful she was. And she told them, thank you. My dad tells me that every day. Her dad helped her become the young woman that she is by spending the time with her he needed to.
And let me tell you how subconscious I am, because she's Korean now. And if you see an older white guy with a young Korean girl, then you might think, what's this old guy doing? She called me up one day. She says, I'm coming into town. I was just, oh, great, you're coming in. You will spend some time with me. She said, don't make any plans for this Friday night. And I said, okay. I said, what's going on? She said, I'm not telling you. Just don't make any plans. So she got to the house. She said, she told me to wear something nice, not suit or anything, but just not like I'm about working in the yard or anything. And then she says, me and you are going to the Eagles concert in Birmingham. So we went down to the Eagles concert in Birmingham. Awesome night. It was amazing. Well, I told her when we got out of the car. I said, listen, you need to call me daddy. You need to, cause, I'm always got my arm around the kid all the time. And I said, call me daddy. And she said, why? I said, because I don't want these people to think this dirty old man is out there with this young Asian girl all the time. She said, oh, Dad, you're crazy. But I didn't want even the image of something that might be taken inappropriately. And that's why I'll tell you another thing that we do too. We don't let females stay in the house with males without my wife here. In other words, like if we have a group of females here and one or two females here and I'm here with them by myself, even though my wife 100% trusts me, we don't want the appearance of anything. We don't want the appearance of anything inappropriate. And that's why I say, and everybody got mad at Mike Pence because he said he would not eat alone with a female that wasn't his wife because he didn't want the image of anything inappropriate. And that's what we try to do. But now, just like Mindy, my daughter, I was, because I always had my arm around my daughter when we were in line, waiting to come in. We sat together, she's always telling me she loves me. I'm telling her I love her. I mean, we're not ashamed of that. I'll say it in public. She's walking away from me in a crowd. I'll tell Mindy, I love you. I'm not ashamed to say that. But I wanted her to be, she'd say, so she said, hey, Dad, look at this, Dad. Hey, Dad, take over here. Hey, Dad, look at this. We got a great seat, Dad.
Okay, that's good. With another thing that I did as a parent, because I was raised by a first sergeant with 6 brothers. So I knew how I wanted to raise my daughter. And one of the things was there were no boys in her room at all. And when she brought her future husband home to the house, he started to go into her room and she said, I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but you can't come in here until after we're married.
Yeah, it was just a rule. No guys in the room. And we've seen it with friends of ours where the guys get in the room and they'll shut the door.
That ain't
negative. That is not happening.
No girls in my son's room and no boys in my daughter's room.
Doors stay open even if they're just standing in the doorway talking. That is just not happening. There's just no girls and guys in the room, and guys need that. And they, believe it or not, they respected it because they knew it just wasn't any other way, But yeah, I know Billy Graham would not be alone with a woman for that is exactly right. But don't be and I've had a lot of headache from a lot of people saying, oh, I want to be my son and daughter's best friend, so they'll always come to me. No, don't be their best friend. Be their parent. You got to say no. You got to say no, it can't be this way. Or yes, you're going to let me see your phone. Or yes, you're going to let me see your computer. And sure, they can hide stuff on there. They can know if their parents can take it, that they can hide stuff. But if you raise them from the get-go like that, for the minute, when you give them their phone, personally, I think a lot of kids get phones too early.
Gosh.
12, 13 years old, 11 years old, 10.
I don't think that they need a phone until they start driving. I don't think they need a phone unless they're not going to be with you like they're going to somebody's house.
I know that we had our nieces with us. We were taking them down to Walt Disney World, and one of them couldn't find their phone. And I honestly thought that she was going to have a nervous breakdown. She absolutely had a full-blown panic attack because she couldn't find her phone.
And she was 13
years old. She was 13 years old. So, and when you do decide to give your child a phone, tell them, it's not your phone. That's my phone. Until you get 18 years old or 16 years old and you start, that's my phone. I can look at it anytime I want to. I get this bill at my house. I can know what you're saying. Even if you can't read their text messages, I would tell them I could. And I said, don't lie to your kids. No, you're not really lying. You're telling them, hey, I am being aware of what you're doing. Because, it's not is that you don't trust your kids as much as these idiots out there, these perverts, these predators that are preying on your child. And if you say that you had a fuss with your child and they went on the computer and this person comes out and he tells them, oh, listen, your parents are being way too much on you and they're being all this nice to you and they're being best friends. They can get influenced into that. Or if they maybe don't feel pretty, and show me your picture. You have a picture of, oh, you're beautiful. You're a model. Do you do modeling? It's just a way for them to actually get with that.
Can I share a story?
What?
Okay. So there in Birmingham, Alabama, there was a TV station wanted to see what they could find out about how far people were willing to go to be famous or whatever. So they took a white van, didn't have any writing on it. They took clipboards and went into the mall and they approached 100 young women and told them that they were a modeling agency and that they would like to have them go out and let them get some more pictures of them. Out of 100, how many do you believe went with these people and got in the van for taking pictures? How many do y'all think?
It'll shock you.
100%.
Yeah, and you think, would your child? Or here's another thing, and I know we're getting off topic here, but we're talking about predators. Okay, we're talking about predators. Say your daughter was in the mall and this guy walks up to her and says, has a fake badge, throws a badge out there. Ted Bundy did this.
No.
Throws a fake badge out and says,
Adam,
your parent was involved. Are you so-and-so, or maybe listen to you, maybe, what's your name? And the people will say their name. Everybody does it. What's your name? And if they say, yes, I'm looking for you. Your parents gave me a picture of you. Your parents involved in a bad accident. I've got to take you to the hospital. And these people will blindly do this.
Adam, remember the little boy Adam from his dad does the Adam Walsh.
Adam Walsh.
That's exactly what happened. A guy came up to him with a badge and told him that he needed to go with him. And he ended up torturing that child and decapitating him and sent a CD, or not a CD, a tape with that child being tortured to the police.
Yeah, there's some sick individuals out there. It wouldn't pay for me to be the one that passed sentencing on these people. I'm telling you what, I'm afraid I would not be lenient for sure. But yeah, and I know, the kid, they say in school you're not supposed to have cell phones, and a lot of parents have pushed back on that by saying, well, what if there's a shooting? I need to get a hold of them. Or what if there's something emergency? I'm going to tell you something, folks. You don't need one for your kids to be in school, because if they have a shooting, first off, I understand everybody wants to run to the school, but you're not going to be able to go into the school and do anything. I'm just telling you, you're going to be put behind a police line. And, I wouldn't say not go up to the school, but I'm just saying, I don't personally think that a lot of these phones are a distraction, a big distraction.
Do you remember when y'all caught that guy down at the beach putting, where he had his stuff on the handlebars of bicycles and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, we've had all kind. I've worked some sick individuals. There's no other way to say they're evil. They're pure evil, and some of the stuff they do is perversion of the what they do is Unfortunately, I worked it and I'll never forget it. But you want to forget it. You really, really do. But be your child's parent. Monitor your child's computer, monitor their cell phone, get into their cell phone, maybe while they're asleep if you can. If you don't want to do it while they're awake, you don't want to put up with the screaming and the yelling or whatever that you're going to have to do with it. While they're asleep, get it, go through it. Make sure, and never, ever, 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 ever not have your child's password to everything. If they will not give you their password, something is up.
Take it away.
That is a big red flag. A lot of people kidding say even the FBI would call that a clue. It is a huge, huge red flag. You have got to have their password.
And you need to go on Google or somewhere and look at the apps where there are places that they can, like that calculator, where they type in a special number.
Yeah, there is
takes them.
Yeah, that it takes them to a whole different area of their computer that you don't know about. And but sometimes you got to be the bad guy. But I think to protect them from this type of activity in these chat sites, you've got to put one restriction on them, what they can and cannot do. You've got to know their password, and you've got to make believers out of them that you're going to walk in anytime and just get up, get their computer, and walk in another room and go through it with them. Either go through it with them or sit beside yourself and learn it. And I've heard a lot of parents, well, I don't know how to do all that computer stuff. Well, you need to start learning before you give your kid the computer. Because what are you doing?
I'm not. It's your dog.
It's my dog. My dog's scratching, and it sounded like my wife was over hitting the keyboard. But find out what your kid is up to. Not that your kid's a bad one out here, okay? Find out what your kid's up to, because there's so many predators out there. 500,000 a day. That's what the FBI said right here. 500,000 a day. 500,000.
How many serial killers are on the streets on any given day in America?
40.
I thought it was 25.
25 to 45. Says here too, it said chat rooms where predators' dreams come true. I told you that earlier, They are predominant online locations where predators meet kids. Sites like, and here's what it said, it's Omegle, it's OMEGLE, that invite kids to talk to strangers are a parent's nightmare. Now, I didn't even go to that site to find out what that was. Teaching your child not to talk to strangers is one of the first lessons in life a parent gives a child, but they don't consider that on the internet. Hundreds of these sites. Kids are naturally curious. Kids may visit them thinking, no big deal, it's for kids.
My niece was staying with me, and she wanted to hear a song, Celine Dion song or something, and she typed in part of the name, and she thought she was clicking. She was only 7 years old, and she pulled up a porn site at 7 years old.
Said kids should not be on these sites, period. They are disturbing and rife with nudity and explicit, disgusting sexual behavior, in addition to becoming havens for predators. Many gaming sites also have chat room capabilities, leaving children vulnerable to potential exploitation. Many of these sites have webcams functionality, and they are ways to turn your webcam on. That's another thing you might want to do is when you are on the computer or your child is, go ahead and put a piece of tape up there over the webcam. And your child might say, well, what's that for? They can't see. Oh, yes, they can. They can actually turn your camera on and actually see what you're doing.
I had that happen to me. I was I was asking for some help. And the guy told me, he said, okay, well, let me get into your computer. And he turned the camera on because he asked me, he said, is that your daughter in that picture back there? And I was like, how can you see me? And I saw that the light was on. So I always keep
and
tape
they
over that.
they don't even have to have the light on for them to do it too. Predators can find kids on Facebook and any other social networking sites. They often create fake identities online, may pose as teenagers. The child that never the wiser. Many kids become friends, complete strangers, with 70% of the kids accepting a friend request, regardless of who they are. Let me tell you something that you do. Now, I told y'all before.
I like Lynn's.
I don't know if I can see Lynn's. It's not moving for me.
Oh, Lynn said he typed in Grand Canyon at work one day, and what came up would make a sailor blush.
Yeah, another thing, don't type in whitehouse.com either. That's a porn site. Also, with this, on their friends, if your kids have a Facebook page, you go into the setting and security settings and block anybody from seeing anything on your Facebook other than their name and their front page of their Facebook. They won't be able to see their friends, and don't let them see their pictures or anything like that. Because, and if you were to go to my personal Facebook page, you wouldn't be able to see hardly anything. You would see my header up there, and you would see my name, but you wouldn't see any of my pictures. You couldn't see any of my friends. You couldn't see any of my posts. I restrict my Facebook almost to where you can't even, I mean, it's almost completely blank. And I would suggest that you do that even to your own Facebook. I would suggest that you limit access to your friends, because what they'll do is these predators and perverts, they'll go out there and they'll find like a young girl online, and then they'll look in their friends and they'll try to find somebody with that same last name as that girl. Then they'll go to your site, and then they'll find out where you work. And a lot of times where your address is, people put their address. Don't put your address, don't put your real date of birth, and don't put your workplace. I mean, on mine, if you are a friend of mine, you'll see all the different police departments I've worked at, and the fact that I have a college degree and that I've been to law school. You'll see all that, but you can't see it unless you're a friend of mine. And I don't share anything with anybody else out there because I don't want people to have that information. It's just not worth it to me. One is I put people in prison for life. I don't want their brothers and sisters knowing where I live and try to come and do something to my family or my dogs that's bouncing the ball in the room right now.
Maggie wants to go play ball.
She's come up here and just dropped the ball 3 or 4 times like, hey, I'm got the ball. I'm ready to play. So, I don't mean to lecture y'all, and I don't mean to feel like I'm trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to tell you from a law enforcement standpoint, and I had many years in law enforcement with good experience.
Inside voice.
And one thing, too, that I've always said, federal agents call Facebook the Fed book because they can find out anything they want about you. Maggie.
Inside voice.
Inside voice, Maggie. I don't know what. Come. Oh, I know. You've had a rough day. Garden store today, didn't you? Just had a rough day. But.
Oh, Lord, you got sugar.
Yeah, I got sugar on the face. Yeah, I have my month and my date is, sorry for the earthquake here, the dog's tail's in the table. I got my month and date, that's fine. It's there. I mean, that's no big deal. But my year is long ways off. I think I'm 93 or 94.
I'm 102.
but it's just because I don't want that out there, and I do not put my address. I went to my friend's site the other day, and I noticed they had their correct date of birth and their address, and I was thinking, man, what? Why? I mean, I can't understand that. So, listen, I appreciate every one of you here. Thank you very much for coming. If you do decide to go to one of these sites and to go in as a little girl, like I said, don't talk to these people. Let them say something to you. You click on them and let them say what they want, but just play completely dumb and don't talk to them. And don't stay long. Leave. Don't get involved in their conversation, because if the longer you're there, the longer they have the time to put something out there that you don't want to see. And I just wouldn't do it. That's just it.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Somebody asked for us to pray for the children and pray a hedge of protection around Hunter, and also pray for retired Sarge's
Yeah,
mother.
absolutely. Y'all keep them in your prayers. Also, Hunter is who now?
He's fighting crime 24/7. It's his son who's I don't.
We'll keep him in our prayers
he said
for sure.
Hunter doesn't know that there's bad people.
I understand. We can hope that one thing is when you speak, and I'm not telling you how to talk to your kids, but I'm telling you, when you do decide to talk to them about
What are you chewing?
the computer and everything, speak to them on a level is that, this is for your, and I know you hear that all the time, this is for your own good, but this is not because I don't trust you. It's I don't trust the people, the bad people out there that are trying to get with people and hurt you, because you can see in the news every other day, there's somebody that's been kidnapped, met somebody online, disappeared, and, end up never ever seeing them again, gone forever, so that's what I would instill into these people,
And another thing, teach your children and your grandchildren. We always tell them, be polite. That's an adult. Don't, and how many times have you seen a child being carried out of Walmart or another store screaming to the top of their lungs? How do we know that child belongs to that person? I've taught mine to scream, this is not my mommy. This is not my daddy.
I have, as somebody mentioned, have I ever taught in high school? I did teach, me and my partner both taught a class back when we were in narcotics. We taught a drug class, actually. We probably, at the time, these kids could teach us a lot about drugs because it was in high school, but we did teach that. What I tend to do is I like to have things in church where we can get the parents together away from the kids and then go over things about stuff like this, where, I'm not going to be able to tell a child out there anything that they don't already know if they're in chat rooms. I'm going to be able to school the parents on what to look for and how to respond to, what if you get on your child's computer and you realize, hey, my child's been talking to this name like here, and if you do go on your child's computer and you see that they've been talking to a certain screen name, get that screen name down. If you can, if they've been emailing, try to get the full header of the email and get the actual ISP on their site. And you can actually go online and look up, at least find out what area of the country that ISP is. Their internet service provider has a code at the top up there and tell where they're at. But at least you can find that name, and then you can start doing your own research to try to find out if this person, I would Google that name and see if that name's been reported as a predator or somebody's reported that person is a scammer. And, do your own homework, but look at your, I don't know, I know some of you will say, I can't go in there and grab my child's computer or my child's phone, because they're going to think I don't trust them. Well, I'm sorry. It's just, you're going to have to get it. You're going to have to, if I was at small children right now and somebody was telling me this, I would make a way for me to get their phone or get their computer, or tell them, hey, I got to install something on your computer. And if you could get that, if you could get that program that puts it on there, it's just like a little thing where you send an email to them, and once they open that email and read it, it downloads automatically to their computer, and it basically, anything that they get a message from anybody or get an email from anybody, you get that same message or same email. It just basically mirrors their computer, and that way they don't have to know that you're actually spying on them or something. And I think spying's too harsh of a word, but you're not keeping up with what they're doing, because it's a way for you to protect them, and your kids are all you got, your wife and kids. And I'm going to tell you this, my kids are grown, but I would do anything to protect them, even now. I used to tell my daughter, Mindy, you need to be careful, when she lived in Dallas, Texas. Mindy, you need to be careful what you do in Dallas, because if something was to happen to you, that would force me to come out there with my rifle and my friends, and we would have to find you and find the people responsible for hurting you, and then I would be in trouble, and you don't want that to happen to you. But she knew I was dead serious. I would go the ends of the earth to protect my children. And if it meant making them mad or doing something, then so be it. And that's just the way I am. And even now, I'm protected of them. I mean, now I don't have to worry about my daughter as much, because she's married and her husband takes care of her. But my son, I know he gets aggravated at me when I ask him, call me when you get there, when he's coming home, leaving here and going back to Nashville. Call me when you get there. I mean, he's 31 years old, but we do it on her dad does it on his 50-year-old son, the same way. Look at C-Mill said, a friend of mine's daughter, when she was 5, was attempted to be kidnapped, and she fought, and she got away. That is awesome that she got away. Did they catch the scumbag? I hate to use that word right here in front of you, but did they catch him? I hope they caught him, because this guy is not going to stop. That's the problem with this type of thing, is they're not going to stop. Thankfully, she got away. Listen, if you do experiment in these chat rooms, send me an email. Let me know what you experienced. And like I said, please do not converse with these people. They're sick, and it will just tick you off. And just, if you want to go there and see how they do, and see if you just put that name out there like I did, and watch these people try to talk to you and try to converse with you and try to get you to another location, then, I was probably on there 3-4 minutes tops. And then I just got out of there. But anyway, it's a dangerous place. The internet's a dangerous place. It really is. So be sure to try to monitor your kids.
Grandkids too.
Grandkids especially, because a lot of times the mother
come to grandma's house
and they don't.
Computer.
Right, they'll just let them get on the computer. Oh, well, go ahead and get on the computer.
Mama lets me.
Yeah, Mama lets me. Or they'll take the computer and they'll sit in another room, and they're just going through all this kind of stuff. I'm gonna be up in the grill trying to find out what's going on. Well, okay, listen. I appreciate everything tonight. I hope you learned something, and I hope I've learned something too. please share this. Try to get more subscribers here. Share it. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And I'm very proud. We topped 3,700 subscribers. 3,707, I think it is. And if you could push a like down there, that would really help the channel and the algorithm that YouTube has. And share the channel, that'd be great. I will see y'all on Friday. And we'll try to get back to some of these cases that we've been kind of concentrating on. And if there's anything you want to discuss, email me. And I don't know why this other thing, for whatever reason, my computer has just been acting up. But it's got internet predators on there. I don't know why it should say my email, but y'all know my email. It's the missing live stream. I had to think a second. The missing live stream at gmail.com. The missing live stream at gmail.com. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. It's rolling across the page here. I don't know why.
Is it?
It was.
You're just all messed up tonight.
I deleted it. No, there it is. There it is. It's scrolling across the bottom of the page right now. But you can email me. Let me know how it turned out for you or what you thought about it. And if you got any questions, any suggestions, please hit me up. And I will do anything I can to help you in any way I can. Want to thank everybody for being here tonight. God bless y'all. Be safe. Be healthy. I'm going to get off of here, and we will see you back on Friday. And she recorded something real quick I want to play for you. Is that my dog there?
It should be your dog.
No, I think this is my dog. That's my dog drinking out of that thing. I guess I didn't do that. I did want to show you a couple of other things here. These are some chat pages that I went to. This is one, kids chat. Look at the different type of kid chat there is. There's kid chat, gay chat, furry chat, Asian chat, teen chat, lesbian chat, religion chat, adult chat, gay teen, black chat, senior chat, teens chat, and Spanish chat. But the top of it says kid chat, and it says a safer chat for younger teens, 13 to 16. Now, what's that doing right there? That's advertising to every pedophile out there that they've got young teens on this place. Okay? They've got young teens. This is another one right here. Your place to talk right here. Download it for Mac or download it for the others. You can get in the study group. You can get in this. An invite-only place. Plenty of room to talk. And what do they have up there to attract kids? They have all kinds of little characters up there. Easter Bunny and a wizard and another guy up there on the other side, a frog, and
Mills has a
like
question
that.
for you. C. Mills has a question for you.
Okay.
What keeps you so patient and keeps you from beating the you-know-what out of these guys?
Well, you have to be, I've dealt with a lot of people in my life.
Hey.
I've dealt with a lot of people in my life, and believe me, there's been times, my burglar alarm's going off. There's been times that I have to leave the room. I'll be honest with you. There's been times when somebody they'll laugh about doing something evil or sadistic. They'll laugh about it, and you just really have to leave the room. You really do. Because if you don't, you might explode on these people. And let me show you the front page of a chat channel. Now you can see this is a type the chat would look like if somebody's in there. Okay? They said, hey, they had, see, this one's Kaylee 14. Hi. but it really says Angel 11. So you're not really sure how she is. You know, who wants to see my most professional photo ever? You know, see, they're advertising. Hannah is advertising for something right there. Then I guarantee you that's pornography right there. I guarantee it's pornography. But that's kind of stuff. And just this one here, chat experience, explore, meet new people in cool chat rooms, flirt, and wacky locations. And this particular site, you could actually give an avatar where they could wear bikinis and dresses, and the guys could be without shirts. People, it was sick.
There was 22,300 people on that chat right there.
Well, which one?
On the one you just put up?
Yeah, 22,300 people online right now. So I wonder how many perverted people and predators they are out there on that particular website. But these were just like a few. And the last one, the one that I ended up going into, look at there. They got kids chat, 13 to 16 years old, RP House, Rainbow Room, My Hero, Academic, something RP, Girls Chat, and, you know, Gay Peeps, Monkey Peeps, I don't know, Multicolored or whatever that is. But the girl chat room, which is supposed to be all girls, said no boys allowed. That's where these guys were at. They were out there trolling for the easy pickings of young females. So I'm telling you, folks, this is the most dangerous thing, one of the most dangerous things to our kids. Because you imagine this, and I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but you imagine this, and this is why I'm so passionate about this. A predator, you think, you lock your house at night. We got an alarm system on our house right now. We got self-protection items here in the house. I don't mind telling you. I mean, I was a cop, for God's sake. I had carried a gun all my life. We got dogs in the house. We do everything we can to protect anybody that's in this house. When we had our house in where we lived in, we did everything the same way. We did everything we could to protect them. And you do for your child. But you know what? They can be in your locked room where you've got all these things to protect them, and they could be attacking your child right there on this computer. They could come right through their bedroom on this computer. And they could show them stuff that would pollute their brain and convince them that their parents are really evil people, or they're picking on them and they don't deserve that, and they need to come out and see them sometime, and then you could have your child disappear forever. I'm just simply saying this is a window to evil. It is. It's a window to evil. I've always heard the TV was the boob tube. It's the evil. It's how evil comes in your house is through the TV. But I'm talking about these people will come here and contact you through the TV, not only through the computer. And I'm going to tell you something. When we were working these predator cases, we had grown men stripped down completely naked, do all sorts of perverted things on there because they thought they had in their mind they were living out a fantasy with what they thought was a 14-year-old girl. It was a fantasy to them. I mean, we had a picture of a girl. In fact, the girl I used was a Russian girl in Russia, so it wouldn't be anybody in the United States. It was a 18-year-old girl in Russia, but she looked like she was 13 or 14 years old. So, they lived this fantasy in their mind. It was a fantasy. That's what I interviewed one of them. And he told me, he said it was all fantasy. He said it was all a fantasy. I said it was a fantasy into your mind until you came down here to meet what you thought was a child and basically raped them. And probably would have ended up killing them because they knew if they got caught, what they would get, and that would be major prison time. So look, that's why I want you to go on these chat channels. Go on them, and you don't even have to put your age on there. Just go and in them and let people, you'll see how much these predators will try to talk to you. If they think you're a kid, they're going to try to talk to you.
Yeah.
And like I said, don't talk to them. Don't do like I did today. I said 3 words. Why? No. And what about? That was the 3 words I said. Because I wanted to see if they were going to go further. And then once they did, I got out of there. Because I didn't want to have them try to start into that stuff with me. I've seen the predatory nature they was. So if you go to these chat rooms, you can go and you can see what's out there. But don't talk to them.
One thing too, be sure and tell your children that they can tell you anything they want to.
Absolutely.
That I always told mine, you can say anything you want to me, but say it respectfully. But I also told them, do not let anyone tell you to keep a secret from us. I'm not going to be mad at you. There is nothing you can do that would make me not love you. My children, my daughter, when I told her that, she was 8 years old, and she said, what if I hurt Dakota? What if I hit Dakota? And I said, I would be upset with you, but I would not stop loving you.
I told my daughter and my son, there's absolutely nothing they could do ever that would make me quit loving them. Nothing. I don't care. They could tell me anything. They could tell me they've done something criminally. I'll be disappointed, but I'll never, ever, ever turn my back on them, and I'll never stop loving them under any circumstances, period. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's what you need to instill in your children, because these people will tell them secrets. Get them to tell them a secret. What they'll start off in one of the conversations I remember from those days, they start off with, tell me your biggest secret that you haven't told your parents. Tell me your biggest secret. Why? Well, I just want to know. I'll tell you my secret. You tell me your secret. And of course, they'll make up something. Oh, I went out and I smoked pot, or I had sex, or whatever. And then these person will say, what is your biggest secret? And then they want you to tell them some super secret, and then they're going to use that against them later on. Well, why don't you meet me out here?
A picture.
Yeah, send me a picture of this. Oh, come on. You don't want your parents to know you did that, do you? Come on. I keep the secret. I kept your secret. Do this for me. I'm telling you, these people are sick. They're sick. And this is why I'm telling you this. And I'm going to tell you this, and some of you may not agree with me. I personally do not believe that a pedophile can be cured. Period. I do not believe that they can be cured. I think that they can be, I don't even know if chemical castration would do the job. I don't, because I think it's in here as much as it is in their personality.
It's what, Tommy, it's what what my professor told me. There's a chemical that's released when you look at pornography that's bathed in your brain forever. Let me see what my dog's upset about. Get the gun. It's a dog.
I just do not believe that they can be cured. And that's why, if you're a registered sex offender, they you can't be in a school of 1,000 yards. You can't be in a daycare within a daycare of 1,000 yards, and all these kind of things. My dog was barking at another dog on TV. That's something
that's such a good girl.
She barks at dogs on TV. Not pleasant, but I wish we never started that. But anyway, and I'm sorry if I tend to preach or be on my soapbox, but I'm so
we're long on here tonight.
I'm long, but I'm so passionate about child safety.
Yes.
And so passionate about against child predators and the internet child predators on the internet. That is huge. That is probably one of my biggest passions right now, is stopping that type of thing. And you know what? Unfortunately, we can't do it because it's ingrained in our youth. They're involved in Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and all of this. That's why I'm saying you've got to monitor your children. You've got to. And you've got to be a parent and not their friend, and that's just how it is. And you know, I'm not saying that I'm not my child's friend, but when we were growing up, I wasn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry about this.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wanted to be their parent more than I wanted to be their friend, because I knew I was going to have to monitor their activities. And a friend would look the other way if they did something. They snuck out at night to meet somebody on the internet. A friend would look the other way. Heck, a friend might even encourage it, but a parent is not. A parent's going to worry about their safety and worry about their child because they love them. They love them.
Our son had to go get a drug test for one of his jobs, and they said, well, you sure are calm about going to get this drug test. He said, well, duh, my dad's a drug officer. What am I going to do?
He said, what? You think I'm going to be drugs? My dad's a cop. You know, not to say that some cops' kids don't do stuff,
That's
but
we've been
you know,
blessed.
we've been really blessed.
We have. Our
sure.
kids were good.
Well, we ran over a little bit. I hope I haven't bored you, but please share our videos. Please come back on Friday. Yes, and please tell everybody to come by and check us out. We hope that we can continue this for a long time, and we would love to have 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're slowly getting there, and I do appreciate this tonight. I hope that it was away from the regular topics of missing people, but I feel so strongly about it that this is how I believe a lot of people go missing and just disappear, that it needs to be addressed. It really does. If you have any questions about this, email me. I'll try to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll call one of my buds that's still in law enforcement and see if he knows the answer. And I'm even planning on trying to do that, is having some of my colleagues from my old job that are involved in a few things. Maggie, don't. Come by and be a guest speaker on here some nights, and we'll talk about different things in law enforcement itself. Yeah, save our children. But anyway, thanks for coming by. I'm going to play this little outro that we have. I'm trying to actually make another one. But I apologize. She's like right under the table right now.
Maggie's causing
Maggie's
the earthquake.
causing an earthquake here. But
Come on.
we will see you on Friday at 7:00. And if something comes up on any other cases I cover, I will, of course, try to come on in. Only reason I didn't on the Holly Courtner case, the one that was found in Zion, I knew about it when she was found, but and thankfully I had a lot of people email me about it. I was in an area that had zero internet, and I just could not get online. It was just impossible. And so I didn't do it. But anything else, you may not see the backdrop like we do, maybe in somebody's house or in another location, but we will surely try to do it. And hope to see everybody on Friday. Take care. And what in the world here? I don't know where that button came from. I will see you, and God bless all of y'all. Be sure to pray for Hunter, pray for Sarge's mom, and anybody else that's having issues out there. Pray for health and happiness. Good night.